It's Jupiter in Aries conjoining an exalted sun in Aries, baby. Let's go. The wagon has been packed with all the goods you need for your journey. Even some dysentery medicine has been thrown in because Jupiter's really nice. The frontier is out there for you to forge. This is the abundance. This is the luck. You may be asking, what the heck is a Jupiter Cazimi anyway? Well, a Jupiter Cazimi is a restart of something called the synodic cycle of Jupiter. What's a synodic cycle? It's the time that's required for a body in the solar system, like Jupiter in this case, to return to the same position as the sun. When Jupiter reaches the apex point, that same degree as the sun, it's said to be in the heart of the sun, in the chariot of the king. It's infused with all the power and energy of the sun. Jupiter Cazimi is like a 72-hour respite of Jupiter under the beams, and Jupiter combusts things. Jupiter in Aries historically has had themes of communism, war, economic strife, and if you're just watching a little bit of the news, you can see a lot of those themes. They're coming back up again. Pluto in Aquarius, Capricorn, that dance is revealing a lot of secrets. It's revealing a lot of truths that are difficult for us to take in. But this Cazimi moment is the respite, the 72 hours of a reset, and it's a period of powerful optimism. We can see things very clearly. What are we supposed to be seeing? Why is this important to know? It's because the reset of Jupiter is going to flavor all things Jupiter from now, April 2023, until May of 2024. Have you ever heard that Jupiter is actually considered a failed star? Well, this is one failure that we should be grateful for. According to Scientific American, Jupiter is called a failed star because it is made of the same elements, hydrogen and helium, as the sun, but is not massive enough to have the internal pressure and temperature necessary to cause hydrogen and helium to fuse, which is the energy source that creates the sun and most other stars. Now, if Jupiter had become a star, we wouldn't be here talking. Life on Earth would be impossible, and gravity would be seriously an issue. And so Jupiter, instead of becoming a star, became a benevolent second in command, or Sun Junior, Deputy Sun. It protects the Earth from a huge array of asteroids that could destroy us, and it also protects us from an overwhelming abundance of movies that would surely exist if asteroids hit Earth more regularly.
We nuke this thing from the inside. How?
I'm thinking Armageddon.
The United States government has just asked us to save the world. We're talking about space, right? Outer space.
And the worst offender of all, Disney's The Good Dinosaur. Where the dinosaur killing asteroid somehow misses Earth, and dinosaurs evolve instead of humans, and humans become the dog-like pets for dinosaurs. Good Lord, who greenlighted that movie? I have no idea, but they should be ashamed of themselves. Here are the critical things to know about this Jupiter Cazimi. It occurs on April 11th, 2023, and it will flavor all things Jupiter in general until it reaches the sun again in May of 2024. On the same day, April 11th, Venus enters Gemini, and this brings an infusion of artistic language, a beautiful ability to communicate complex concepts, to argue a point with grace and balance, but also with a deep transformative depth, because on the same day, Venus also trines Pluto. This creates an open lane of deep, cathartic, artistic expression, especially in the communicative arts, writing, speaking, etc. Jupiter Cazimi occurs at 21 degrees 45 seconds of Aries. This puts it in the third decan of Aries, which is ruled by Venus. The image for this decan is a burning rose. Astrologer Austin Coppock calls this decan the place where we see the power of art to overcome hostility. This is a type of battlefield, but it's one that's soothed by commonality of spirit that tames even the most hostile conditions. Imagine a dancer, a comedian, a singer, a gifted orator, speaker. They become a single rose that's aflame, which ignites the hearts and minds of other people. Inspiration. This leads really nicely into our Sabian symbol for this Jupiter Cazimi, Aries 22, the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. The keynote for the symbol is abundance made possible by human togetherness and cooperation. Rudyard explains this really well. He says, "Alone, a human being can barely survive in nature's great life drama. In organized groups, humankind can in due time fulfill their desires. An abundant life is in theory open to all. At least that's the ideal. That's the great dream, right? We can look to those gifted speakers, artists, singers, writers, dancers to inspire our own hearts, our own minds, and a place of camaraderie and spirit. Some of you may know from the discussion tab on this channel that I have been reading and have just finished George Orwell's 1984. It's my first time reading it. I've wanted to read it for a really long time, but I have to get up the courage and the guts to read a book like that, where I didn't really know exactly what it was about, but I knew generally what it was about. So I kind of had to get up the right mindset in order to read it. So I finally got to that place. I got the audiobook and I started listening to it. The main character is named Winston. He obtains a contraband diary, and writing in this diary could mean a sentence of death, but he's writing anyway. He writes down April 4th, 1984. The date for me to finally start listening to this book was also April 4th, 4/4/2023.
April 4th, 1984.
Shalala. I had to pull over my car. I was like, wait, what? Of all 365 days of the year I could have chosen to read this book, I had to walk into April 4th. Of all of the gin joints in all of the towns in all of the world, she has to walk into mine. What's the point of bringing all of this up in the Jupiter Cazimi video? Well, first of all, I would like to recommend the book if you haven't read it yet. It's still around after 70-something years for a reason. It's an important work of art. And with Pluto and Aquarius, I think it's really important to be aware of a worst-case scenario event. 1984 gets referenced a lot in politics because there's stuff happening that are in the vein of that. It's scary, but it's true. The Jupiter Cazimi in Aries is a message for us to come together before it's too late. Under the guise of art and passion and freedom, Venus is a big player here. Venus is coming into Gemini. It's trining Pluto at the same exact date. Venus trine Pluto from Gemini to Aquarius gives us the deep connection, the words, the benefic transformation through communication of love.
I love you. I love you too.
And that is power. It's powerful. Now, I'm going to open a can of worms. Feel free to stop watching the video now, but because I'm going to mention the word politics. But modern politics are they're devised to separate us, to serve an inner party that already exists, people that are at the top. Wealth, they're pulling the strings in our world. It's divisive, it's manipulative when it should be made from common sense. It should be made to serve the people, the masses. We all have our own political point of view despite that manipulation. And I respect that there are many different thoughts on what's right and how things should be. I love that there's so many individual views allowed still in our world. When you pull back to the pale blue dot moment, we're all just one little tiny speck in this astro mosaic. We only have one perspective inside of us in this spectrum of life, of diversity. And when you put all those perspectives together, even when they're oppositional, that makes up absolute truth, because that's the integration of all duality. In order to have my own opinions, in order for you to have your own opinion, there has to be a corollary, there has to be an opposite, and both are right and both are wrong. In all truth, I think the only wrong thing is not respecting that alternative narrative, not respecting somebody that disagrees with you. We don't need to adopt their view. We don't need to adopt their belief. There's no need to homogenize humanity. We should have different opinions. We should have different ideas, different loves, likes, dislikes, etc. Sometimes I hear the music my son listens to and I know that's the point where I'm getting old, because I just don't get it. I don't get it. And that's okay, because that's what drives progress in art and friction leads to heat and passion, to a burning rose, to new ideas. When you look at the dystopia of 1984, that's what's been removed. Opinions are gone. Independent thought is gone. Freedom to love anything. Freedom to love whom you want, what you want. It's removed. The spectrum of human life is reduced so dramatically when we lose these things that life becomes personally pointless. Life becomes lifeless. So on that upbeat note, we still have a beautiful world to live in. We've not yet gone too far. Jupiter Cazimi in 2023 is here to wake us up to a new potential, a fire inside of us, the beauty, the passion, the inspiration of art made by our fellow humans. of your own art, your own writing, your own crafting, your own dancing, your own singing, your own music, your own painting, your own expression, whatever it is, of your humanity. You're free to still express it. And that can inspire other hearts and minds and ignite that rose unto fire.